Oh, it is.
Hey, welcome to the Expendable Show. I'm your host, the Expendable. With me, as always, Shauna. She's putting lip gloss on. I don't know why, but she is.
Because I look boogie as fuck today. Okay, damn. Like, let me put some lip gloss on.
Then you
Look
said
a
like
little,
20 bad
little put
words in
together.
like 3 seconds. All right, that's fair, I suppose. So today, my mind's in a few different places today. With the storm, the hurricane. I don't want to call it a storm. That kind of downplays it a little bit. But with the hurricane Milton is getting ready to smash into Florida on the Tampa Sarasota side, which is where my sister is at in Sarasota. For some reason, we tried getting her to leave, but she wouldn't. So hopefully she makes it through that okay. I can tell you right now, I've seen probably 10 different cities what it looks like right now, and the hurricane ain't even hit it yet, and everything's just flooded and waves everywhere, and it's gonna be bad news. So I mean, all the footage looks bad. It's a Category 3 right now, and it's supposed to make landfall tonight. So hopefully nothing bad happens. So I wasn't going to include this because I didn't know about it, but while I was waiting on the show to start, I was watching a TikTok video. It was of the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne was on there, and somebody called in from Tampa, and you could tell like he was very, very scared. And and he said, I don't care, Republican or Democrat. He said, I don't know if I'm going to make it out of this tomorrow. And like, he's just pouring it out there. And he was like, the government ain't done shit for us. And, all the Ukraine comes over here and just gets their handouts. The migrants get their handouts. Everybody's getting handouts except the American people. And I thought that this guy, if everybody has a chance, I think it was from this morning's Breakfast Club, I'm pretty sure. But if you could watch that interaction with Charlemagne and this guy from Tampa, watch it, because like it hit me, like it was powerful. And like you could tell, like this is a guy facing death. And and he don't know if he has a tomorrow or not. So I was, man, it kind of got me a little bit. It's gonna be a bad storm, and I just hope that people survive. They're showed in Bradenton, Florida right now, and they got massive waves, and it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. I ain't even seen nothing from Tampa in a minute, so they're probably taking shelter, I'd imagine, since they're direct line of fire. So I mean, it's a dangerous thing.
I think the biggest thing is it's many things. So I've seen several different conversations happening on like Twitter because I've been on there for the last 2 days. And one thing that I saw was that this storm is like unprecedented as far as like the stats for it having such a
Yeah.
small eye for the storm itself, and this
Right.
one girl, she wasn't a meteorologist or anything like that. So she, this is just her doing her due diligence as a citizen and Googling everything. But one of the things that I was reading and I was going through the comments and stuff, it was just like, the water being extremely warm.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 60% or something like that. It typically doesn't do that much as far as like I don't even know how to explain it, but basically like the storm itself is just unprecedented as far as like this is the closest thing that they've gotten that we have ever seen in history as far as having like a Category 6 like hurricane. And because like scientifically they never thought it was actually possible, and the way that this storm is looking, it looks like it might actually happen. And then the other big thing that a lot of people were talking about is obviously we just had Helene just happen, so it's still a lot of debris
Right.
everywhere, and they've been trying to clean it up and get rid of as much as they can, but they just don't have enough time to do it because the storm is coming so quickly. And I think that so that's a huge worry as well, because it's still a lot of damage from Helene happening, and then now we're having another storm that is an unprecedented storm. So it's just like everything's just really up in the air, because you don't really know how severe
Right.
it's going to be, as far as damage. You know, how many lives are going to be lost doing this, and then there's people like, I know a video went viral of a lady. She was explaining, like, people, like, she was saying people are telling us to evacuate, but where are we going to evacuate to? Like, all of the hotels are full. Somebody was speaking on, like, the gas stations, like the line to even get gas is so backed up that you can't even get gas to evacuate the city right now. So
Right.
those are very huge concerns as far as the storm is going. Um, so it's really scary. And to see news anchors crying on national TV, because it is such a scary thing. Like I said, this is just something that we've never seen with the storm, how quickly it progressed, how small the eye of the storm is, things like that. These are just things that, in theory, scientists have talked about, and things that they've made models to see what possibly could happen if something like this happened. But because we've never actually seen it, it's so many in the question, like up in the air questions. So that's
Right.
what makes it even more of a scary storm. Like, I was just like, just Friday, I was like reading everything. It was like, oh, by the time it hit landfall Thursday and Friday, well, Thursday night or Thursday morning, it's going to be like a category 3. Now they're saying it's a category 5. It's just crazy, and it could bump up to a category 6. It's even more crazy.
Well, it's down to a 3 right now, but they just said it that they're speeding up it's going faster than they thought.
Mm-hmm.
So it's they're saying it's going to hit landfall in about an hour.
Mm.
It was supposed to be like early, like in the middle of the night. Now it's going to be like at 8
Tonight.
So we're about to find out. Tornadoes. I think it was Fort Myers got hit with a bunch of tornadoes. Like, there's a bunch of the footage I saw. It looks like somebody went through there with a giant lawnmower and just mowed a bunch of houses down. So the tornadoes is a big thing. Yeah.
Did you see
So
that
it looks
one?
like
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was. They got they're in Ochope, Florida right now. There's a massive tornado going on. There's tornadoes everywhere. But I did watch Governor DeSantis. He was getting interviewed by Fox News, so I watched it. And so it sounds like if you can come up with a game plan that's going to be big and handle this, it sounds like he's got it ready. He's got 50,000 utility workers ready to go. He said he's got 20 or 30 some thousand law enforcement ready, and 20 more thousand emergency personnel ready to go. He's just waiting to deploy them. He said 8,000 National Guard are ready to go. And he said FEMA is not running this show. He said there's one sheriff in this state, and it's me. So that's good. It sounds like DeSantis has a plan. He knows how to execute it. Like this ain't Florida's first go around. So they know what to do down there.
One thing I will say, I'm not a fan of DeSantis, none whatsoever, but I will say he is, when it comes to the citizens, I love his proactiveness. I love
he's
that.
a doer for sure.
I will give credit where it's due, although I'm not a fan. He is very proactive with things like this, and I think, especially since seeing North Carolina and how bad of a state they're in right now, having a governor that's very proactive in this type of situation, especially with, we don't know how bad it's going to be. I think that's a good thing, just because for them, like, you're saying you got all these people ready to go lined up. So worst case scenario, if people are trapped or anything like that, it might just be for a couple of hours, instead of how that one lady had to watch her son and parents drown in North Carolina because
Right.
they weren't sending any rescues, which I
Right.
find to be horrific. And her,
We're, we're, we're
like,
we're gonna get into that
oh,
here in a second.
oh, I can't even. But yeah, just I will applaud him for that because they're going to definitely need that, and it's good to
Yeah.
see
I mean,
him doing
it's
that.
good leadership. It's good
Yeah, for
leadership in a
sure.
time of crisis. It does, politics don't matter right now. It's human lives. And after, when I felt better after watching him speak, I was like, okay, DeSantis is ready to go. He knows what he's doing. He's got all the right people in all the right places. We just, got to hope that the hurricane's not as bad as what everybody thinks it's going to be. I'm pretty confident that DeSantis is gonna that this is gonna go very efficiently for it being a hurricane. Obviously, if there's even one loss of life in a hurricane, that's a tragedy. We don't want to see stuff like that, but God chooses sometimes, and He doesn't always choose how we want Him to. But they have solid leadership down there with a guy who knows this game. He's played it before, so I feel pretty confident that he's going to get the job done. I just hope my sister is on the second floor like she said she's going to be, and that hopefully the water doesn't surge that high. That's what I worry about. And then the random tornadoes that are just popping out everywhere. Now, let's move into the constant bureaucratic trash that the Biden administration continually keeps throwing out of the White House about these hurricanes. Let's say these hurricanes. I just don't understand. I just made a TikTok about it, and I think it's starting to like take off because like my phone's going ding 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 ding. As an American, that I pay my taxes all the time for years, decades. I don't want to be fed a line of shit. I want there to be transparency. If you're going to tell me that FEMA is not giving money to immigrants, okay, that's fine. But where is that money coming from then? And that's the answer I'm not getting. So for me, I feel like nice try, wrong guy. Like I wasn't born yesterday. I know how you turds like to move money around. So until you tell me exactly and show me on a ledger, like this money got moved over here for immigrants, but I want to see what that dollar sign actually looks like too. What's the total dollar amount for the immigration to buy off immigrants in here? Because they're getting $5,000 stipends and however much money they're getting on their food stamps, and they're getting free hotels to stay in. They're buying them houses. They're doing all this stuff. Like, where's the American money? I don't know. I'm just really confused as to how the money just disappears and it comes. So there's a little bit more to that story. So the Office of OIG, which is the Office of the Investigator General. So they did an investigation back in August. Well, they did it before August, but they came up with their conclusion in August. And so they found that there's $7 billion that was frozen from a carryover from a hurricane from 2012. So that money's just been frozen, sitting there. They didn't do anything with it. It was delegated for a hurricane in 2012. They didn't use it, and it's sitting there. And then you get Mayorkas. He gets on TV and says FEMA doesn't have any money. Well, unfreeze $7 billion, you idiot. Bro, the report came out in August. So you've had 2 months to do something with that money. If it's not there, where did it go? Where did the $7 billion go that was there in
to
August.
Europe, like every other penny that we've had is gone everywhere but America.
Right. And like that's the thing, like and you're not going to get any, when he's up there giving his press conference, you're not going to get any reporters challenge him on that. And that's where they need to stick all these dudes in. They need to go through and audit the shit out of the federal government. No one's doing it. And yeah, here it is. They got it on there right now. The Mayorkas said FEMA doesn't have enough funds to make it through the hurricane season. Where's the money? And right before Congress went on, go ahead.
I'm just curious. You're saying that FEMA doesn't have money for hurricane season. This is like somebody saying they don't have money for rent. Rent due the same time of the month every month. We know when hurricane season is. So how do we go a whole year to get to hurricane season and we're like, we don't have the money? Something not adding up, because
you had there was a budget. It was budgeted.
you had time to prepare for this. This is something that was prepared for last year. So how do we get to hurricane season and we don't have the money? That's absurd.
And it was budgeted. It was budgeted in there. They always put disaster relief money aside in the budget. So it was there. And then now and we really didn't have any hurricanes up until Helene. No major, things going on. There should have been plenty of money in that account. But here we are. They're saying, oh, we don't have any money. Well, the investigator general found $7 billion. What'd you do with that in 2 months? Where'd that go? There was no disasters in the last 2 months. Where did it go? It should be there for the people. And then right before Congress went on their break, they approved an emergency provision to give FEMA $20 billion. Where did that money go? That's $27 billion total that FEMA's not accounting for. Mayorkas getting on TV and saying we're broke. That answer is not acceptable to me. And I would say, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just
I was going to say put him in front of Congress and make him answer questions, but that doesn't do any good. We've seen that time and time again. Congressional hearings don't get anything done.
I'm also just curious. So we're saying we don't have the money to help rescue people in a natural disaster. So we're just not going to do nothing as a government. We're just going to, I'm sorry. That's right. Joe said us American citizens need to do something about it. We need to do their job. So if that's the case, then I feel like if I got to do their job, then I should be able to come up with the budgets that y'all spending money. Because why are you telling me as a citizen who is already struggling in the economy because of whatever y'all have already done, that now we've got to help send
they just make everything
and
worse
money and do all of these things? Like, you want me to do this? Again, you want me to do another job that you should have been doing under your administration. So I'm confused. And the main question is, so if FEMA doesn't have the money, then what are we doing? In my opinion, what about the military budget? Why can't we take from that? That's billions of dollars just sitting there for the military budget. We're not going to war. So why is that just sitting there? Take the money from there and go help, give it to FEMA so they can go help these people who need the help.
No, that money's the Department of Defense money is set aside and earmarked for Ukraine.
A war that's not ours. Got
Probably
you.
coming out of the Social Security fund.
Got you. So the money
Right.
that
war that's not ours
set aside for a war that has absolutely nothing to do with us. We can't touch that money, but you can touch FEMA's money that is actually for the citizens of the country. Okay, sure. And people still want to be voting Democrat. All right.
Right. And that's the ass backwardsness. What if a massive, like, let's say 5 tornadoes, like some anomaly happens and 5 tornadoes go through the south end of Atlanta and wipe out the quote unquote hood, what then? Can we depend on the government to come down there and help us out? I don't trust them at this point. Seeing how they've dealt with this, I don't trust them. You're on your own.
I think this is,
so I mean, it's horrible.
This is such a stain on American history, in my opinion. I think this was very poorly.
Nobody's saying Joe Biden's going down as the best president ever.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and Kamala Harris is going to beat him.
Sure.
But yet, when you look at the timeline of Joe Biden's presidency, it's okay. First week, fuck up. Second week, fuck up. Third week, fuck up. Okay, we'll skip a week. Fifth week, fuck up. It's just a constant failure over and over and over and over. These guys can't get anything right at all because their political greed outweighs the caring and their duty to take care of the American people. So that's why you get guys like the sheriff down there in North Carolina. He's like, look, we don't want you down here. You're just going to anchor us down. We've got work to do down here. If y'all ain't coming down here to work, then just don't come. And that's how it should be. And, get these clowns out of here. If they're not going to do anything, get out. Just cut a check. Just shut up and cut a check. Where's my money? But they ain't doing that either. I mean, according to the White House press release, they're doing all kinds of stuff. But we're going to go over that here in a second. So I'm going to give you a couple things that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I'm going to give you a couple things that are actually fact based upon the information that I have seen. So the fact is FEMA and the State Highway Patrol in North Carolina is blocking off highways, major highways going into the disaster areas in North Carolina. That's a fact. It's happening. I just talked to a guy about an hour ago who was traveling and he was turned away. And they said, go back. You can't come through here. So I've heard it was happening, and then I got confirmed it was happening. So now, then we know that North Carolina Governor Cooper waited all the way until Sunday to deploy the National Guard. To me, that's dereliction of duty, and he should be removed from office. He's responsible for however many people died in between his paws. And magically, as we talked last podcast about this company, Albemarle, their stock keeps going up. It's amazing. The mine's not even running, and their stock keeps going up. How is that happening? Because they know it's going to. They're going to mass produce lithium out of that mine. I don't care what Joe Biden says. That's what's going to happen. The money's telling you what's going to happen. So then the $750 pay that they're going to give, or well, let me get it right because that's not quite true. They're giving it, they're loaning it. So what they're going to do, let's go back. Let me go. I'm right off of whitehouse.gov. So we'll talk about $750. But what they're doing is the verbiage that they're using for this is the thing that kind of jumps out to me because they want you to think that they're doing something. Okay, so here it is. The White House is saying that this is a fact, that this is a factual statement. The $750 is the type of assistance that you may be approved for. So they're not even guaranteeing that you're going to get this money if you're in those disaster areas. You have to go find internet somewhere and apply for it, and then hope you get approved by some dude sitting in Washington, D.C.
And I mean, that's just
They're
fucking
calling it
awesome.
Right. There should be no questions asked. It should be, where are you? How can I get you this money? There shouldn't be an apply, wait for an approval.
This is also, I just think about all of those people during COVID who, and I know this isn't, this wasn't it wasn't like the government, it was the state, but still, it just, when hearing that, makes me think back to during COVID when all of those people were trying to get their money and stuff like that, like they were doing like the people who were waiting to get their food stamps, all kind of stuff like that. And the states were, oh, we don't have the money. Right. So you had people literally going up to the office and they're like, oh, well, we don't have it, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. It's giving the same type of energy that just pisses me off. Like, you're telling us that you may or may not get this money. And my thing is, if it like, regardless of if you're in the region that was in the path of the storm, it should be without question of a doubt, okay, they're getting the money. Why do I have to wait to be approved for something that you need? Because my whole thing is that right. It should have already been put in there anyways. If you're saying that FEMA, you budget to put stuff in FEMA, then this money should have been budgeted to go towards relief for people who are going to be displaced during the hurricane. This isn't our first rodeo dealing with these things. This is why FEMA was put into place anyways for stuff like this. So I don't understand why it's these type of situations going on.
Well, then think about this, Shauna. So where are they going to spend this money at? There's no internet anywhere in there. Well, there's no banks open. Where are they going to spend this money at?
I just don't even, this is just so upsetting. Like, I don't even,
it doesn't even make sense.
It's so upsetting. It's just like, I don't even know where to begin.
Right. Because you're not going to be thinking about paying your bills right now if you're in those areas. So scratch using the money for bills. You're going to use it for supplies. So why give them the $750 cash or deposit? Just show up with supplies. That's what those people need. They need the supplies. They don't need $750. They need supplies. And what's sad is the churches are the ones taking care of it all. Samaritan's Purse has done so much work over there. And there's other little groups that are doing their thing. They got helicopters and everything else, flying supplies in. So you're not getting anything out of the government, not anything useful that people in a crisis need. You can't just put $750 in a bank account and say, there you go, I hope you survive. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have, it's stupid. It's a stupid plan, and it's not guaranteed money.
I don't.
So the next one. So these are they released.
What is $700 doing?
You can't go to Walmart and spend it. Walmart's not working.
But I'm saying even we've been seeing TikTok videos all over the place, just groceries alone. Like if you spent $200 in groceries, it gets you 15, 20 items depending on where you're getting them from. And you're saying $700? Like what about a family? Like a family? Like what are they supposed to do with $700?
Yeah, a family. That's 1 week, you're done.
Literally.
I hope your house is rebuilt in a week. So the White House, they released this statement on the 5th to combat Donald Trump's lies about the hurricanes. So that's how much it bugged them that he was exposing stuff. So, I mean, some of the stuff might have been bullshit, but most of it, he was basically getting his information from the people on the ground.
But look, here's the thing. Even if it wasn't
so this
true,
one is about
forcing them to speak on it.
Right. Yeah,
Force them to
how do
speak
I
on
believe
it.
Joe Biden?
But in my opinion, because
Yeah, I
they've
didn't
been
see
fact
Joe
checking
Biden on the ground.
they've been fact checking everything. So my whole thing is, even if it wasn't true or not, now the people are going to be like, okay, well, y'all got to respond. Is this true? Is it not true? If they lie, then guess what? You're another
Right.
lie you've been caught into, Kamala.
Well,
Since that's
listen
the
to this.
trend.
So they use fact checkers in this. They cite the fact checkers. So I looked at all of them. It's Huffington Post, which is like they feed so much propaganda themselves. And then you got CBS, CNN, uh, The Hill, like all these liberal outlets are fact checking the liberal president. Of course, everything he says is going to be true, and Donald Trump's a liar. It's insane, and it's all hearsay stuff because like they're saying that one of the rumors there is that the FAA and the state of North Carolina is not allowing aircraft to come in there and land. That's what the people on the ground are saying. They're saying we can't get supplies on the ground because the government's not letting us. And so Trump brought that up. And then so Pete Buttigieg released a statement that says no one is shutting down the airspace and FAA doesn't block legitimate rescue and recovery flights. That's his verbiage that he used right there. He said legitimate. So that means if they're not certified or they're not identified by the FAA, he's not going to let them land. And that's exactly what's happening. So they used wordplay to make it look like they're telling the truth, but really they're actually doing what Donald Trump said they're doing. They're not letting those no helicopters, no planes land. So that's just a big disaster. Yeah, I mean this isn't getting any better. And the White House won't tell the truth, and we can't get any real data out of nothing. That's why we got to realistically, I don't think this country can go through one more disaster. And we need Donald Trump back in there because he needs to unleash Robert Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk and let them audit the shit out of the federal government so that way we know where every penny is going. And then we can say, okay, now we're going to do this spending the right way, because that's why our debt's so high. They all blame each other. Like Biden's he raised the debt all the way up to $35 trillion. I mean, not all of it is him, but he's contributed to that. I think he's part of like 5 trillion of it. Trump put money into it, but that was from COVID stuff. Then every president has contributed since John F. Kennedy to it wasn't that far. It was in the 90s. I think the 90s is when our national debt started. So we really haven't been in debt all that long, but our debts keep getting bigger and bigger every year because these idiots in Congress want to keep spending a bunch of unnecessary money. So if they need to go in and audit and say, hey, Mayorkas, where did the FEMA money go? I need you to show me on this ledger here. Where did it go? I see it here, but then it disappeared. So where did it go? Like what agency got it? Because I know you guys move that money around. And those things need to happen. Otherwise, we're going to keep getting scammed and that's going to cause the value of our dollar to continue to go down. It's going to affect our stock markets. Our out of control government spending and their funneling of money here and there and everywhere is destroying our economy. And Trump's got to get in there and he's got to make a good faith, serious effort and just unleash the auditors and say, go fix it. I want my books to be reset correctly. And it's going to take probably a year to get done. And probably, good thing Joe Biden hired 87,000 new IRS agents so they can help get that done faster. But it's a train wreck. This whole thing's
get that done faster, and people still waiting since forever, 2-3 years for they daggone income tax. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just saw a lady said I just finally got it. I'm like, well, damn, that's a long time to be waiting on income tax.
Since 2020 to get income tax money.
Yeah, what do they do? Like overspend their money?
And people still ain't got their money. So what are they doing? What are they doing? Because IRS is a government job. So that means my tax dollars is paying for them to do nothing. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, it just don't make no sense. It don't make no
Right.
sense. I don't.
So one of the comments that the White House fact checked. Are you telling me to hold on?
I think I'm lagging, but
Well, anyway,
no, I didn't say
here's one
anything.
of the things that they fact checked. Okay, yeah, you are lagging by a little bit.
Okay.
So several months ago, Karine Jean-Pierre had a press conference, and well, hold on, let me get it right. Karine Jean-Pierre, because she's French, and I think she's Haitian too, so she's probably really offended by Donald Trump. But she stated in a press conference that funds were in fact coming out of FEMA. She stated it. They have it. They have the recording. It's all archived. Fox News has played it like 1,000 times since this has all come out. So they've said that the money for the immigrants comes from FEMA, and now they just flat out lied to us and said, "Nope, it's not coming out of FEMA." And all this information is available on whitehouse.gov for the October 5th press reading. So anybody who doubts my legitimacy can go read it for yourself and see how stupid it is. I mean, this has obviously turned into a political thing. There's a big thing that DeSantis isn't taking Kamala Harris's phone calls, which if I was, headquartering a giant disaster relief thing, I'm probably not going to talk to people that aren't going to be here with their hands on things, helping me fix things. I don't have time for that. But Kamala's been trashing him all over the place. And then he came on. He's like, I don't know what she's mad about. I've been working with the president this whole time. I've been working with FEMA this whole time. Just because I don't have time to answer her calls, she wants to get all butthurt. He's like, I got stuff to do. And I mean, she's trying to use it for political. He said, this is the first time Kamala Harris, since she's been in office, has had any interest in hurricanes. Which then, he's right. It's just a big political theater. She wants to go down there and, put her rubber boots on and walk around with the cameras.
And cackle. Oh, she get on my nerves.
No, she's got this really serious face she's been using down there. She points at stuff. Does that. Then the cameras just go, oh my gosh, look how heroic she is down there. She's saving everyone in Florida. Look at her in North Carolina. We're going to film it outside of Charlotte so that way those hillbillies up in the mountains don't try to get her. They don't have enough Secret Service to save her from those guys. I'm going to tell you that right now. those mountain boys, they'd take her out if they wanted to. But I mean, that's the kind of trash that we're dealing with right now. Doesn't it seem like things just keep getting worse, Shauna?
Literally every day. I've honestly been taking social media breaks. Am I lagging?
No, you're not.
Oh, okay. I've honestly been taking social media breaks. I've really just been hopping on and then hopping off because it's just so much and it's so much information and it's such an overload. My anxiety is through the roof. Like, and it's just like, you don't even know what information is correct, what's false, what's like partially true. Like, you don't know. And it's just like, it's so much of it. And like, as a person who you're just like, I just want peace. I want to be able to go to the grocery store and not have to spend $1,000 to last off of groceries for me and my children. Like, it's just things, it's all so much. And it's like, we're sitting here once again having conversations about what a woman is and other stuff like that. And you're watching presidential debates and we're sitting here attacking each other instead of talking about policies and how we're going to fix the economy. And it's frustrating when you're a person, like a regular citizen, just trying to make it every day. And it's like this, and then like I have family in North Carolina. I have family and friends in Florida. Watch your door because they're going to hit it. Right. Anyways, so it's just like seeing all of these things, and it's just like to see that there's no help being given and nothing's really being done. Every day it's getting worse, stuff like that. And it's just like, once again, as I always say, we're sitting here and the debate is, oh, do you really want Donald Trump in office again? Wouldn't you rather it be Kamala? She's a black woman who's been in politics for a long time. She knows what she's doing. If she did, we would see better results now. Even at her being the vice president, we should have been seeing something. You know, we've talked about it before on the show. One of her big first jobs she was supposed to do was getting border control. And that's fucked. It's fucked us, the citizens, along the way. It's just things that could have been done that she had the power to do in being the VP that are fucked.
Right.
And it's fucked us over as citizens. And it's like, you want me to feel confident. Like at the end of the day, when you're making the decision to put this person in office, you should feel confident in your decision. I don't feel confident in choosing her.
She would have been better. She would have been better off if she would have just came out and said, look, I had all these great ideas to fix the whole country, but Joe Biden told me to shut up and sit down. She would have got way farther with that. Instead, they tiptoe around each other. You can tell they don't like each other, and they don't support each other. So they're just like, they're trying to like show that they're successful, but no one's buying it. We're like, no, we already saw the failure. You guys can't go back in time and rewrite your history. You just continually failed. Everything you tried to do cost the American taxpayers a bunch of money, which caused inflation, which caused all these other things to happen.
I just think it's even interesting.
And your only defense is blame Donald Trump.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting, like if we're just talking about like presidential campaign alone, like I think back to Obama and like Obama and Joe. And it's like they were such a close-knit unit that you didn't see one without the other. Like you saw them playing basketball together. Like their chemistry was through the roof when it came to the president, vice president duo going on. Like the chemistry was crazy. And
it's like watching Beavis and Butthead.
But you did not see that with Joe and Kamala while he was running. And
no, they never did anything together.
And even now, like watching her run her presidential campaign and her and Vance or Waltz, like Waltz. Yeah, Waltz.
He's a weird one. Let me tell you that.
He probably doesn't want to be around him. He definitely gives off creeper vibes. It's like
vibes. Super both hands all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Like he definitely gives like the, oh, I hope I look non-threatening and like nice, and you look like you possibly are a creep. So, but it's just like even like watching them and everything like that. Like it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel genuine.
No.
It's all of it feels wrong. It all feels wrong when you're thinking about, okay, this is a person that I should feel confident in putting her in office. And because, you know, me, I'm always for like, you know, they love to tell us women can't do things. I'm always for, if there's a moment that we can really show what we can do, I'm all for it. But I don't feel that way with her. I'm not even a feminist, but I'm always like, if there's an opportunity for us as women to show how capable we can be in doing something to shut the naysayers up, let's do it. But I don't feel confident in saying that with her being in office. I feel like it'll just fuck us even worse if she was to be president. Like she's fucked us over just being VP. I can only imagine what she would do being the actual president. Like I feel like it would just, at this point, just burn the whole country down because it's just not going to go well.
So what we have like basically going on in the White House is, so you have, you know, Donald Trump, where we pretty much know what to expect out of him as president. We've already seen it. Then we have Kamala Harris, who basically, I don't know what she was doing this whole time as vice president, but it wasn't doing anything that we noticed was productive. And
Walking
so
around
what
laughing.
in this dead time going into the election, it just seems like a lot of theater, and she's not authentic, and she comes across as extremely elite. Like she talk, like she's like, oh, Donald Trump, the felon. Oh, okay. What's wrong with felons? We're not, felons aren't allowed to have a second chance in life. Like, is that what you're saying? So that's what percentage of black men have a felony? What percentage of Americans have a felony? It's higher than what people think.
I
And
think that's
so
very
you're
interesting to
attacking
say that he's
people.
I think that's very interesting to say that he's a felon, but both of your parents are immigrants of America. So, if anything,
Right.
always giving people the opportunity to do better if they can should always be the goal. So, for you to even say that, like, even if you think, oh, Donald Trump's not the best person, whatever, like that. But my thing is like, we can see with this presidential election where he lacks, he's making up for in the people that he chooses to put on his administration.
Right. And he's
Like,
got an
and I
all-star
think
team waiting.
it's very interesting that we focus on that. I just find it interesting because, like I said, her parents are two immigrants to America. So they were people who were seeking asylum or whatever to do better in life, things of that nature. And we're saying just because he's a felon that he can't do good.
Right.
I do too,
Oh,
Colin.
Shay,
I
that'd
think
be
it'd be
great.
a very fucking. I think if anything, I feel like America would feel like America. I've been saying this.
Diversity.
I feel like America would be America. I think more than anything, we have to realize that America is ran by the people that we want to diminish all the time. Like that's what true Americans
Right.
is. And I'm not saying everybody's a felon. I'm not saying everybody's poor and everything and everybody's struggling in the world. I'm not saying that, but I think it's a great representation on the other end that is never showcased in a good light for America.
I
Like it's
mean,
always
and you're right, because
so
like
bad.
to add to that, I mean, they're felons are displaced minorities. So when you have these guys, they have these felonies, their opportunities are automatically probably cut by 75%. And so they're not their ability to achieve the American dream is highly oppressed. And they have to fight 4 times harder than the average American to get somewhere. And it's not easy. And they're counted out and they're turned away at the door all the time. So I think it's great that we have that, even if I don't think this felony is going to stick, but it's there right now. And I think it's
I mean,
great
I
because it
think if it
shows
was gonna
like
stick, it would have been
it's a
stuck.
crime deterrent. Yeah, you look at these guys, like Donald Trump could run around to every state prison and go, hey, just because you got a felony doesn't mean your contribution to society in a positive way has to be over. I'm
And I think
president of the
that's a
United
big
States
thing
and I'm a
too.
felon.
I think that's a big thing too, because so many people were like, oh, why are we speaking on Kamala's previous political history? But that's one of the main things that has black
That's
men
all we know about
in
it.
America. That's one of the main reasons why they are choosing to vote for him versus choosing to vote for her, because
Right.
the
She's a
information
felon
that we know
creator.
is exactly you have extended black men's um um uh their terms in jail. You extended it longer than it actually needed to be for most of the people that
Right.
you went after in California. And we have somebody who is a felon. So now, even though he didn't do no real time, but I'm still saying it's more when you're thinking of being relatable to your people. Once again, this shows a side of America that is never shown in a positive light. And I know many
Right.
people who are felons who's had to do odd jobs, or they've had to take jobs for lesser pay at companies because it's like,
Yeah,
oh, well,
that's all
you're
they
a
can
felon,
get.
so I can pay you whatever I want to pay you and stuff like that. And I think
Right,
it's opening the eyes, and it's really showing, to me, it shows how America really treats these people. Just like when we see these case studies and it shows people that act like they're homeless on the street, and it shows how
right.
humanity is complete shit because you walk past this person, not even trying to help them, not trying to hear their story, just treat them like they're animals. And I think it's really kind of showing that right now. Like, oh, Donnie has a
Right.
felony under his belt and everything like that. But that doesn't mean he's any less capable than you to run this. Once
And he's
again,
not
I'm
letting
a
it
double advocate.
he's not letting it be a factor. That is not a factor to him. And he's just running right through it. And but that shows people, like, look, if you stay resilient and stay on your path, no matter what slows you down or gets in your way, you can make it. You can still make it. It doesn't have to be over. And you don't have to go, well, I might as well go back to prison because nobody cares about me out here. I'm never going to be able to make it here. You know, and
Yep.
that's how recidivism happens. And that cycle has to get broke. And when you see a felon go up there and you've seen them attack and attack and attack him, and he still stands strong, they tried to shoot him, he's still standing strong. Like, what's it going to take to weaken that man's spirit? Nothing, because he's resilient. And yes, Danny Trejo is a felon, and he is awesome, Colin. I agree with you.
Did not know he was a felon. Did not know that. But
Yeah, man,
nonetheless,
that's how they
huge
found
fan.
him.
Huge fan. Huge
Yeah.
fan. But I think
So is Tim the
know.
Toolman Taylor. He was a cocaine dealer.
Okay. Okay.
That's a
White
fact.
privilege at its best.
No,
The man got
he went
caught
to
smuggling
prison.
cocaine. He got caught smuggling cocaine, and now he's just like a millionaire living life. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah,
I think,
he
at
was a
the end of the day,
comedian.
I think it's, but I mean, look, that's a great turnaround story. He got his shit together. He went to
It's a
jail,
great
got
turnaround.
his shit together,
Right.
found a new
He used his
profession.
talent. Right.
Hello.
The
I think
comedy
that's
clubs don't.
okay.
The comedy clubs don't do. They don't do background checks at the comedy clubs. They say, "Are you funny or are you not?"
I'm so dead. I think it's also too a very good big example as well that they want us to basically disown Donald Trump. And I think we are like the only country when it comes to our jail system that just allows these people to just continuously go to jail. Anywhere else in the world, you see, okay, they did their crime, but this is supposed to be like, if you're giving them a sentence and say, okay, you got a 10-year sentence, this is supposed to be a rehabilitation program. And in America
Right.
is the only
That's not
place that
happening.
you see. Yeah, like America is the only place that you see besides like Mexico, where you're treated like an animal in and out of prison. So you mean to tell me that I've done this crime, I was sentenced, I did my time, and I get out and I'm still being punished daily? That's not what it's supposed to be. Like, it's supposed to be a rehabilitation program. Like, at the end of the day, that's what jail is supposed to do. Okay, if you did this crime, we're giving you the sentence. You're going to sit in here. You got to think about the bad that you've done. Once you get out, you're supposed to do better. But we're the only place that you get out and you struggle the
It's like they
entire
kick you.
time to do better
It's
for
like they
yourself.
kick you right in the face, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing out of prison? Get back in there."
Not the greatest country on earth, Colin, please. But I think
we can be the greatest country on earth.
I think more than anything, once again, like I always say, that is my big spiel when we're on the show, is that if anything else, this presidential election should open your eyes to a new way of thinking about everything. Always. And I think, like, never a Donald Trump advocate, never an advocate, but we have to look at these things objectively.
I mean, you just spent the last 10 minutes advocating.
I'm saying I'm advocating for the people that are in the same situation that he's in, i.e., most of my friends are convicted felons. So I
which
get
is
it. You know what I'm
indirectly
saying?
supporting Donald Trump.
Oh my God. At the end of the day, my point that I'm saying is everything should be looked at objectively. And though I'm not a huge Donald Trump fan, I can see the good. I can see the way that he's being mistreated by America and by the Democratic Party. I can say that. Even if I'm not a fan of his, I can be honest and say that.
Right.
And my whole thing is like this, if he wasn't Donald Trump, if he was just a normal person, would we be okay with him getting treated the way that he's being treated? My thing is, like I said,
Right.
I have multiple friends who did stupid, petty things when they were young. Now they're convicted felons, and they've been fighting their entire adulthood up to this point to do better for themselves. They have children now. They want a decent job. They want to be able to have a job where they can have good benefits to take care of not only themselves, but their families. And they're struggling to do that because of this misconception of them being a convicted felon. I think that's wrong. And it's not okay.
Yeah.
And my thing is, as a citizen, once again, my tax dollars fund this bitch. It funds America. I feel like my say-so should mean more. I feel like the way I feel how somebody is being treated in situations should be more validation in that. And I think it's not okay that they're treating him like this, and then you're bashing this man, and then you want me to put her on a pedestal, but then I can't talk about the shit that she did when she was an attorney general. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
I can't call her out for her things that she's done in mistreatment of people, but we can go back to Donald Trump all the way back in his younger years, and we've got to,
because you know what that's called? Everything. It's called Marxism. We're in a Marxist society. There's Kamala Harris is just the icing on the cake, and when we look at what you say versus what your actions are and what is actually happening. Her actions historically are socialist. What she says doesn't fucking matter because she has yet to back up anything that she said. And she's trying to deflect from her Marxism. Her dad was a Marxist professor, wrote almost a Marxist manifesto when he was a professor in college. Her mom's family is part of the largest communist party in India. So 1 + 1 = 2 in my book. So you can't look, people. Look, I feel like Joe Biden. I feel like I just did a Joe Biden. Look, folks, look. When 1 + 1 is 17, we got to look back and add the 1 and the 7. That equals 48 in cats. So that's my Joe Biden impersonation. And Corn Pop's going to get his ass whipped behind the barn here in a little bit.
Side note, right quick. I just want to show one of my, actually, this guy, I've known him for years. He was the person, his tattoo shop was, I'm doing the show. So sorry. He's got a new car with this freaking Tesla. He's trying out all the stuff. Anyways, I think he is the first person that he owns a tattoo shop and several tattoo shops, does a lot of stuff for the community, but he actually went down to North Carolina to bring relief to help the people. So he actually posted some of the photos. I just want to show some of it so you guys can see, but he showed photos of just how it's how it's all looking right now or whatever, and just showing the help that they've been doing inside of North Carolina. They were bringing water and stuff, helping people with their vehicles. They were cutting hair, things like that. You can see, just helping the community out. They were helping like people like get debris and stuff off their trees, off their cars. Here's some of the like water and stuff that they brought for people out there in Asheville, just doing that to try to help the community out.
I don't see no FEMA people in those pictures.
And he's just showing some of like everything damage. The damage of everything going on. Here, I'll show you like how the trees are flipped upside down and stuff. So he was actually able to make it into North Carolina. I don't know how, and I'm not going to put it out even if I did know how, but he made it in. He was able to get there and help people with stuff. This is somebody's car in front of their house, different stuff like that. So there are people out there doing things, trying to help and make it a better place, but it is bad and sad for sure.
Yeah, they just said Hurricane Milton has now hit landfall.
Oh God. Whew. We're gonna pray about it. We're gonna pray about it.
But my sister just sent a text. My sister sent a text since the show. It says that they're safe. They still have electricity for now.
Have they had any like weather change, like rain or any of those things going on? Or is she
well, see, she's trying not to use her phone just in case they lose electricity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she's just throwing something out every once in a while to let everybody know she's okay.
Okay. Well, good. They're in my prayers because this is very much a scary situation, but everybody's going to be okay. We're going to put positive things out. We're going to put positive out. It's going to be okay. Everybody's going to be okay. But I think, once again, Shauna's always saying, if you're voting, vote with confidence. You should be without a shadow of a doubt. This is the person that I'm sticking with, and I know that they're going to do good. And I just don't see how you can sit here and say Kamala's going to do good when they're not doing a freaking thing right now. So,
nah, fail all the way around.
Even Obama was out there in Louisiana walking the streets with the people after they had been hit with hurricanes. Like, come on. He was out there with the Red Cross helping pass out water and blankets and stuff.
He was looking for a basketball court. Get out of here.
Okay. Now, see, that was racist. That was racist.
He was like, y'all want to hoop?
See, racist.
Anybody got a ball?
Racist.
That was white people play basketball, Shauna.
No, that was racist, and you know it.
Pistol Pete Maravich, he was white. He was a great basketball player.
I'm not hearing it. We retract that statement as it came off very racist. Anyways, moving on. At the end of the day.
Nope, I refuse to be canceled.
At the end of the day, like, it's very sad to see where we are right now. It's very nerve-wracking as well, just because, like I said, I'm a mom. So I'm always thinking about what kind of state America is going to be in when my children are big adults scary. And are actually. Thank you, Desmond. Thank you very much. Anyways,
Desmond's black,
and Desmond called it just how it was. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yep. That was racist.
But see, this is why this show we can say things like that and we can correct each other. This was a teachable moment. We're not gonna do nothing like that again.
Well, I did learn because I didn't realize just because he was holding a basketball that I say, "Hey, go play basketball." That's racist. I learned something today.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I hate to see the state that we're in, but if there's always a silver lining when there's so much bad. I think if anything, I like to see the conversations. I like to see ideologies changing, especially when you think about a lot of people's voting is based off of racial and generational decision making. So I think that's a good thing to see those conversations being had, those things being questioned.
I have an icebreaker. I have an icebreaker for humanity.
Oh my God.
So before we end the show. So I had this revelation today when I was in the lab and I was talking to Kazan. And so I realized that there's one topic that all the races can get along about. And you know what it is? Aliens.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's factual. Me and Kazan talks for like an hour about the Anunnaki coming back, and boom. And then I realized,
what if they never actually left? What if they've been living down there under the what if there is no like core of Earth? What if there's just a whole nother world under there?
What if Hurricane Milton's really a mothership?
You know, they just found that old cave that's like 2 centuries old in Japan. You know that, right?
I didn't know that.
So, like, I think February, they found this cave in Japan, and like, it's like a lot of the plant life in there is so they don't even know what half of it is. Like, it's a real thing. You can go look this up. Not you snitching on the one.
God.
You don't even have to snitch. If anything, if once these aliens get here, they're gonna take care of that whole problem. They're gonna be like, yeah, they are the issue. We gotta wipe them out. They've gotta go. They've all of the shit that's been going on planet Earth started with them. They're gonna be the first ones to get annihilated. So, and just to let you know,
Yeah, but didn't we already learn?
We're gonna be okay.
Yeah, but we already learned, Shauna, that actually globally, white people are the global minority.
I've been saying this for years, and every time that I tell a white person that they're a minority, I get looked at like I'm a freaking psychopath. I'm like, you do realize that statistically, it's more of all of us than it is of you. Just saying. Just putting that out there.
You know what? I take it back. I don't think I've ever seen Desmond play basketball now that I think of it.
Desmond, we don't have to do nothing. I'm telling you. They're going to come down here. First of all,
Elon
is going to tell them they have to be eliminated. They are the problem. White people are the problem. Elon's going to tell them that because I told you. Let me tell y'all this.
Elon's white.
Yeah, Steve Desmond was he is not white. He is a fucking alien. He is the alien prince that's been down here spying on us all these fucking years. He ain't no damn African American. I'm not even finna play with you.
Yeah, he's from South Africa.
I'm not even. First off, he's not American. He's not American, so he's not an African American. Let's just start there. Let's start there.
I'm gonna check into his citizenship. We're
I hope he has citizenship if he's gonna. I'm avoiding you tomorrow. I'm locking the office. I'm not dealing with you tomorrow. I refuse. I refuse.
All the key codes to all the doors.
Not mine.
I got a foot that can kick that one.
Okay. And when I call Michael and tell him that I'm going to need a new door, and the reason I need one is because Eric kicked it down.
And then Michael's going to call me and he's going to say, sounds like you need a new assistant.
Oh, okay. Not if Colin, see, me and you was rocking real heavy. We was rocking real heavy till you said that. I see.
I knew that was coming.
This is what we talk about right here. This is what we talk about right here. This is why you can never befriend white people, because the moment that you try to trust them, they flip on you quick, fast, in a hurry. This is what I be talking about.
He was born in South Africa. That makes him at least African. He's African. I think that might be the problem. We just don't have him labeled correctly. I'm just going to ask him what he wants to be, because that's what we do now. What do you want to be, Elon? I saw this video today. They said that humans don't have 2 eyelids, and they zoomed in on Elon Musk's eyelid, and he's got 2 eyelids. That dude's an alien.
I've been telling you this for a long time. If you go onto the Tesla website, it will tell the little baby rover thing that they have. It says or the little Cybertruck for kids. It says, "Oh, the first ever Cybertruck for children of Earth." It literally says that on the website.
You showed me that.
It literally says that on the website.
Crazy.
I'm just saying,
to the
if that isn't him
openly
saying that he's an alien, that's all I'm saying. Desmond said I'm mixed, and my white mother told me to never trust white people. Well, your mother raised you right, Desmond. She raised you right. There you go. Because white people, as my father would say, it's the white devil.
You trust everything I say, Shauna.
No, I do not. I'm fact checking your ass all the time.
Well, that sucks. You're kind of like CNN.
Mm-mm. Because anytime you say something, let's
But
get
that's
on
going to
to
wrap the show up for the day. Before we have a racial war, I got to stop the racial war.
Oh yeah, you guys were being
No,
divided. We can't be divided. We can't do that. We cannot do that. We have to be one.
Right.
There's
Let's
only
bring
one
it back
race.
together. Let's play
The
basketball
human
together.
See, thanks, Colin. I told you the other day I should be president.
America.
Because I'm telling you right now, one thing's for certain, two things for sure, Colin. We are not going to be fucked with. We are not going to be fucked with. I'm telling you like
Colin,
that. You thought Donald was bad with them fucking bombs? Oh, we bombing everybody. She said, what? Okay, drop a bomb tomorrow on her ass and see if she still got the same feeling.
See, it's ain't going to work.
They're going to be like, oh my God.
There will be no humans left.
A war-loving psychopath. And they'd be like, I sure the fuck am. But I tell you what, America won't be fucked with.
Yeah, see, you're just like Donald Trump.
Better, because I'm a woman. A black woman at that.
So you're admitting he's good.
So I'm admitting that I'm better than him. There you go.
All right, that's fair. Well, that's the end of the show for the day. Everybody, pray for everybody over in Florida. It's scary over there right now. Things are just now starting to get worse. I definitely will be thinking about my loved ones down in Florida. And if you can't help, pray. That's just as good as money. So everybody be safe out there, and we'll catch you guys on Sunday. Peace.
I don't think the thing does it anymore. Where it does our balloons. See, it's not doing it.
No, it quit.